to us about the trends you're seeing in terms of how and where people are spending their money as the world reopens.
Yeah, well, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me, Emily. I think what we've seen over the holidays, obviously Omicron was a big factor in December and through the holidays and into January. But the nice thing that we observed was it was fairly quick. It wasn't that deep of a hit, and consumers really seemed to be less afraid of travel and were really just inconvenienced by the issues that came up through Omicron. So we've seen a quite fast rebound. It's still highly focused in the luxury areas, the leisure areas. And of course, the home rental business, Vrbo, remains quite strong for us. So many of the things that have been popular through COVID remain popular. I think corporate, international, some of the big city travel is still lagging, but we expect that to be the next set of things to come back as more borders open, as people become more comfortable. And as you say, it becomes more of an endemic stage where we believe people will travel fairly normally, and all those pieces will come back into the market.
So let's take a window in time. How do you expect this summer, for example, compare to the summer of 2019 before any of us knew a pandemic could really be a thing?
Yeah, I think this will be the biggest summer we've ever seen as a company. Now, it won't be universally strong. Places like APAC, Latin America, will probably lag considerably. But in Western Europe, or probably all of Europe, and certainly North America, we expect it to be boom time. So, you never know. You never know what COVID throws at you. But if we stay on the trajectory we're on, we expect there to be huge pent-up demand for summer travel this year.
So that said, are you preparing for other variants? Are you worried about other variants?
Yeah, I would say, we're certainly think about it, but much less than before. We spend our days thinking about how are we going to react to the next COVID variant. We're much more focused on what are we going to deliver this year as a company in terms of product innovation, marketing innovation, et cetera. So we're very focused on what we're going to drive to the traveler, how we've reimagined ourselves and the travel ecosystem. And really day to day, we're not that worried about COVID. We're watching the signals. We obviously watch the science news closely, but we pulled back much less when Omicron hit. And I think the next one will be even less. And over time, perhaps we'll barely adjust with each new wave.
So talk to us about Vrbo and the rental competition you're seeing with Booking and Airbnb. Are you gaining market share? Are you gaining listing share? Or is it still really hand-to-hand combat?
Yeah, I think, for us, Vrbo really specializes in the whole home experience. And I think in our markets where we are strongest, in the leisure markets where we have focused our attention, we've definitely gained share and held share through COVID. I think as the entire world comes back, some of our competitors have more distribution in the big cities, for example, that I mentioned, I expect to come back. They will benefit certainly from small apartment rentals, room rentals in those cities. That's not something we really focus on. So I think in a broad share sense, that they may see opportunity, but in terms of the places where we are focused, we feel like we've made great headway during COVID, and we will retain it and build on it.
And, to a certain extent, this is, you also mentioned this, but we're seeing demand still on the weaker side for urban listings, international listings. Do you expect that to come back to full strength and bigger, and when?
Yeah, I definitely think it's the next move in the market is international and big city travel. Assuming the summer is as strong as we hope, a lot of that will be the old-fashioned, trips for Americans to Europe, to big cities, Paris, Rome, et cetera, London, and the inverse. So I expect big cities and international travel is probably the next big win, including hopefully international air, because you can't get there without a plane, and that's been a tough part of the air business. I think corporate probably lags somewhat behind that, but we do expect that those places will start to fill up as more and more people get on the road, and everyone who's had 3 trips to a national park is can't wait to go to Paris or Rome.